Oh, hello there. What is this? Another creature design video? So soon? No, not quite, because I'm going to do a twist and I'm going to do it in sculpture form. So I saw during with Waffles do this, and I was kind of inspired to do a sculpture because I haven't done one in a while. It's not going to be needle felting like my posable sculptures, but I wanted to do something with Super Sculpey and Fimo, and I saw another YouTube artist as well do this, and I haven't found their name, but I'll put it here because I have to do the research. And I saw they picked up some kind of duck. Yeah, duck, I think. And then Drawing with Waffles picked up some other animal, and I can't remember, but they all went to thrift shop. They just got something. So I went to thrift shop, secondhand shop, and I got this little puppy. And when I picked it up, I was like, this could be a really cool creature design. So I'll have to use the creature that is actually this little doggy, and then I'll pick two other animals. Let's see. And mix them into him with sculpture, and I think that would be really, really cool. So, what would we get? What will we get? A bear. That's cool. And Highland cow. Why? That's so hairy. Highland cows are so hairy, but this is very possible to do with this little sculpture, because if I got like something really crazy, it wouldn't be possible. So yeah, let's see if I can do it. The first thing that I of course do anytime I design anything is to go and look up references. I use Pinterest on my iPad because it's really handy and I can just have it over the piece of paper I'm drawing on, and I find some references for the bear and for the Highland cow, and then I start sketching. I actually just did one sketch for this animal, but just because I kind of knew what I was going for, and also the bear and the Highland cow I feel like I've done before, so I don't know if I've had doubles in this jar or not. Anyway, it kind of became this really weird little creature that really reminds me of the Beast from the original animated Beauty and the Beast, and I don't have any problems with that. I guess now is a good time to say that this video is not like qualified to be an official random creature design video because it's kind of different, kind of random, and I will not be featuring any artist in this video. That will only happen once a month, so that will happen in about 2 weeks, so that you guys know, and that video will be what the creature card for my patrons will be for that month. So this one is kind of like a really random thrown in there random creature design, but I really hope you guys enjoy it, and I did it because I wanted to do this sculpture thing and I had no idea what I want to do, so why not throw in two random animals. Now, I've seen a few of Ace of Clay, that's his name, yes, as videos, and he usually do like bulk the sculpture up with some sort of foil or something else, and Waffles did the same thing, but I think they had a bigger sculpture to base things off. Mine was just tiny from the start, so for me it was just easier to block everything in right with Super Sculpey and not have any foil underneath it. Originally, if I was going to make a head for something or any other sculpture from scratch, I would definitely use some tin foil and tape to create a light base instead of using a lot of Super Sculpey. But it wasn't too thick of Super Sculpey on this creature, so it was fine just to go in with the Sculpey and start sculpting. That was sculpting a lot of times in that sentence. God damn it. Now, you will see me kind of deviate from my sketch quite a lot, and that is because I think differently when I do traditional sculpting than I do when I sketch, just because when you're actually sculpting it, you have your hands on it, you can turn it around, you can twist it, and you have already this base of a creature that has a certain pose, especially in this case where I have my dog, but you kind of get a different sense of how the design will work, and also creating fur in clay is very hard and tricky, so I had to figure out what to do, and I just decided to just go ahead and do whatever I felt like and just have fun with it. I didn't actually make any big changes until I got to the hind legs. I decided to kind of make it into more of a floppy pose, if that makes any sense. I looked up references of bears, and whenever they sit in a very cute kind of just plump on the ground. So I wanted to change the legs so it wasn't so rigid and so dog-like? I don't know. So I kind of made the extra leg coming out and also the other leg going in under, so that I just covered up the actual legs from the original sculpture with a lot of clay and just giving him a really big bare butt. I also decided to kind of ignore the sketch where I put like a cow's tail in. I felt like it would look too much like a cow because I decided to go with the cow nose, so I just ignored that for then, and I will do another pause. I will show you guys this in a second, but for now I will talk about the horns. I decided to make the ears into horns, so I plucked out some clay and then twisted and twirled it into little antlers. Now, clay art is tricky to work with. I know that I want a lot of fur on this little creature, and just putting fur on top of the already soft clay is very, very tricky. So, and also the horns, if I had bumped those horns anytime during the fur process, it will be messed up. So I put on the oven and I cooked it for the 15 minutes that the Super Sculpey recommend, and then when I take it out of the oven, it's all hardened and I can kind of do my fur and extra details as I please and not worry about changing anything of the base sculpt underneath. So I've pretty much made my own base sculpt on top of the base ceramic dog. The only thing that I should have done in the first kind of pass with clay was to put the paw prints in, because I felt like in the end they were kind of sticking out a bit too much, but I just kind of went with it. Then it was time to do the fur, the most annoying and time-consuming part of any sculpture. That was the only reason why I was kind of stressed about getting a Highland cow, is because I need to do fur in this one, and fur with clay is really tricky, and I tried looking up some tutorials and none of them seem to be the same type that I usually do, and I was just, okay, I'll just do what I've done before, and that is pretty much take a kind of flat, angular sculpting tool. You can use anything. I used needles before as well, because they kind of work the same way, but they're a lot smaller, so you get a lot more finer detail. But I just used my really cheap sculpting tool that I got from some sort of Hobbycraft, and I started dragging it with the clay the direction of the fur, if that makes sense. Now for the technique with this one, I kind of start from the bottom and then build up, because then the top fur layer that you do over the next one, it kind of builds up into a really nice little point, so it kind of looks like the end of some fur. It kind of makes no sense when I say it like this, but when you look at any animal, you kind of see separations between certain fur directions, and that kind of makes it look realistic. So that's what I tried to do, and by starting from the bottom and going up, that kind of imitates that, even though my fur texture is very, very random, and probably a lot more random than if you sat down and try to do it more elegantly. Mine's very rough and it creates a lot of mess, but I really didn't care because it takes so long anyway. Now, sadly, I did miss the clip, or I lost the clip where I did the hair over his eyes, and I'm so sorry. That was one of the most funnest part, but I did it the same way that I did the rest of his fur. On the rest of his body, I just made longer strokes to kind of show that it was longer fur, and he looks so cute when I got this little fringe on him, and of course that's from the Highland cow. I feel like a lot of it is from the Highland cow. You kind of can't see a lot of the bear. I guess the pose and the paws are very bear-like, and I did also give him a little bit of a tail, which is also very bear-like, because that's why I decided to move away from the cow's tail, because it was too much like a cow. That's like the tricky thing with creature design. You have to find a balance between the animals to not make it just purely that one animal or the other animal. The thing that I get a lot of the time with my creature design videos, which I think I'll talk about now while I paint the creature, because that's not that interesting. Anyway, I do a 50%, 30% and a 20%-ish kind of thing when I design. If you watch my first creature design video, you will get this. It pretty much means that the animal that I decide to use the 50% of, I take most of. So it will look the most like this animal. But then the 30% or 35%, I can't remember what I usually do, I take from another animal and that kind of gives it a little bit more of a twist, a little bit of a change. And then the last one you can barely see, you can barely tell that it's there, and that's what I like. That's what makes it look natural. If you went like 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, you would get something that was too split in half, and it wouldn't be very interesting. So that's what I do, and a lot of people comment and say, oh, but you didn't use any of this, but that's just because that's the 15% of the last animal that you can barely see. And that's just how I work when I design, and I think it works for me. It might not work for you, you can do whatever you want. Designs are very, very up to the person, so do whatever you want. Now, the last chapter of this little video is of course the painting. So as you saw, I did block in the black color, which was pretty much just over the whole body with the fur. I do this because I want to remove all of the beige coloring, and I don't want any of that to show up when I start painting on top of the fur. So making that dark base kind of also make the fur looks more voluminous. Did I say that word right? And it just really cool when you put some brown on top of that again, and you go not with the direction of the fur but across it. You kind of only catch the top part of the fur, and that gives it even more of a 3D effect, and that really helps when you're doing small 3D sculpture like this. So the painting is quite rough. I'm not very good with acrylic. I always feel like it becomes very blotchy when I do it, but in the end he turned out super cute, and I'm really happy. I also gave him the little triangle thing on his chest, which is the same as a sun bear, I'm pretty sure it's called. It was not actually the exact bear that I was referencing, but I just love that little detail that comes with that sort of bears, and I should have probably maybe put more of that yellow bright white color somewhere else as well, but I gave it on his fringe as well, and his horns are a little bit lighter, and I just think that he looks really cute, and I'm very happy with how he turned out. Let me know if you guys want me to do another creature design like this, because that would be really fun with the clay sculpture, and I will be doing a needle felting sometime in the future. It takes a lot of time to do those ones, so bear with me, it will happen someday. Bear with me. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on Monday for another vlog. Bye bye! And just to end this video on this end card, I just want to say a huge thank you to all my new patrons. The last month have been insane, you guys. I have now updated with all the new patrons, and this list is getting really full, so I have to figure out a new way of featuring all of you wonderful patrons who decided to come and support me for this month and hopefully next month. And I just want to say a huge thank you. You are supporting me so much, and I love you, thank you. Okay, bye.